On a recent holiday, I had a chance to visit some art galleries and museums and palaces and cathedrals. And one common thing as I visited each of these was the fact that we had a guide to show us around. And as I looked back and thought of all the guides we met, I was thinking, what made a guide special? What did I like about a guide? And I suddenly discovered maybe there are lessons for all of us on what it takes to be the kind of person who makes an impact at work. Hello and welcome to another edition of Chai with Pai. My name is Prakash Iyer. Have you had a guide show you around a tourist spot? Like I mentioned, we had a guide showing us a whole lot of places as we were on a holiday, and it made me think, what makes a guide special? What is it about some guides that we like them more? And is there something we can learn from here that can help all of us in our lives, in our careers, at work, at home? And I found that there were some lessons we can all take away, starting with the fact that it doesn't really matter how much a guide knows. All guides are knowledgeable, and you're unlikely to rate a guide as being better because you were blown away by their knowledge. Knowledge is often table stakes. They all have it. What makes a difference is their ability to share, to communicate, to make that knowledge interesting for all of us. And maybe that's true for us at work too. It's not about how much you know, but about how do you share what you know? How do you make sure that what you know makes an impact on other people? So what can we do to make an impact? What can we learn from those guides? And I thought there were 4 or 5 things that we can all learn. First, make sure you're engaging. Engage with your audience. Ask questions. And I found that some of the better guides were constantly interacting. They weren't doing these boring monologues which told you that the cathedral was built in 16th century and who lived over there. But they were encouraging you to ask questions. They were asking you questions, often saying, why do you think they used the color red over here? Now, it just made people respond, it made people engage, and I think that's such a powerful idea. So engage with your audience. Second, tell stories. I think it's extremely important for all of us to learn to tell stories. Much after the tour, much after the holiday, now when I look back on some of the places we went, I don't necessarily remember the historic details or the name of the architect or the century in which it was built. What I do remember are some of the fascinating stories that I heard of the people there, the story behind the construction, the story behind that painting. It's the stories that we remember. So good idea for all of us at work too, to become better storytellers. Third, small things can be big. Okay? And I think often it's not about getting to the obvious facts, it's not about the big information which everybody knows. Sometimes your ability to make an impact, to be memorable, stems from a little nugget, a little piece of trivia that you might be able to come up with, and that little piece of trivia will make you unforgettable. So become the kind of person who tries to look for those small nuggets of information which could make it interesting, which could make it memorable for your audience. Another one that never goes wrong is laugh. I think it's great to have a sense of humor. It's good to be able to be funny, but it's even better to be able to laugh at yourself, make a few mistakes, and just be comfortable with it. A little laughter, a little humor brings a smile on other people's faces, and I think that can go a long way in making your message stick. And the last one, and an important one in the context of our workplaces today, is to make sure that you are inclusive. The best guides would ensure that they would take care of each and every person within the touring party. And most times they had people from different nationalities, races, cultures, but they would make it a point to ensure that they had reached out and touched each of us in their own way. So it could mean telling the Italian how much they like pasta, it could mean talking to us as Indians about Bollywood, but just making us feel that they cared made a huge difference to our sense of enjoyment. That's really something for all of us to think about. And I often wonder that to become a better guide, you don't really need to study more history. You just need to get better at engaging with people. Maybe that's not just true for guides, it's also true for all of us at work. It's not about just more knowledge, it's about saying, how can I become a more interesting person at work? Think about it, and until next time, enjoy your chai and see you again soon.